It's been about 21 years since I last heard about this game, but a few days ago, I was yet again reminded of its existence. I remember playing this game in high school on the school computers, while we were supposed to learn things like Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Access in IT class. Remember, this was back in 2001-ish, so we still used pen and paper back then. Kids, a pen is an instrument for writing or drawing with ink, typically consisting of a metal nib or ball, or a nylon tip fitted into a metal or plastic holder. Paper is material manufactured in thin sheets from the pulp of wood or other fibrous substances, used for writing, drawing, or printing on, or as wrapping material. When you combine these together, you can use the pen to write down text or draw something on the piece of paper, creating either an art piece or a piece of text. Think of it like writing on a keyboard and have letters appear on your Word document. Okay, enough shenanigans. We did have computers at school back in the days, but the computers were these stationary computers with these giant fat monitors that weighed a ton. As always, I don't really remember how we got our hands on this game, but all I know, we all played it. And at the time, it was just surreal to play a Super Mario game on a computer. We never heard of such a thing. A Super Mario MS-DOS game? Our minds were blown. Little did we know at the time that this was in fact a non-licensed fan-made Super Mario game, and in hindsight, I can now see it for what it was. At the time, I thought this was just a watered-down version of Super Mario ported to the PC, and what we were left with was a short but beautiful Super Mario game with no music and only 6 levels. Don't you just love those classic DOS sounds? It's pure nostalgia to the ears. The game was named Mario and Luigi and was made in 1994 by one man, Mike Waring. What a legend! The fact that this game was, as far as I understand, quite popular back in the days, and that Nintendo didn't put a lawsuit up his ass was pretty remarkable. You know how those old games used to have a little demo of the game if you waited too long in the menu screen? Well, this game is no exception, and I have to say, this is peak demo right here. Wow. Pure perfection. As the game suggests, you can play as both Mario and Luigi in a 1-player or 2-player mode. The game looks like it took elements from the first 3 Super Mario games. The graphics looks a lot like the remake of Super Mario Bros. From Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo. You have palm trees from Super Mario 2 and the note blocks from Super Mario 3. It was made 1 year after the release of Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo, so it kinda makes sense. It's a pretty short game, about 5-10 minutes if you don't die once, but as far as I remember, I did struggle a bit with this game, so I'm not sure if I actually ever completed it. And the reason for that is the controls. They are by far the worst controls, but just playing Super Mario on a keyboard was weird and unusual. The controls are not the most responsive and does feel a bit stiff, which makes the game more difficult than it needs to be. But then again, you could argue that the game should be a bit difficult due to its short length, so the more you struggled, the more you would play it. The more you played it, the less time you had to pay attention in class. The less attention you paid in class, the more difficult the tests were. The more difficult the tests were, the worse the grades got. The worse grades you got, wait. I have no idea where this reasoning is heading. My point is, I think we remember this game so well because 1. It was a Super Mario game on a freaking computer, and 2. The setting we played it in is so memorable. We played this at school, in class. for those of you who played this game back then in the same scenario, you do know what I mean. And for those who didn't, I don't think you will ever understand how special it was. But anyways, I just wanted to shine some light on this game since it made such an impression on me back in the days. Until next time, cheerio!